I did all of my contractual obligations and I was done.
I'm gonna stop.
Okay?
Because contractually,
Yes.
when you make a movie, regardless of who you signed the deal with,
Yes.
your job is to go and promote said.
Monique's long-awaited vindication has arrived nearly 15 years after she bravely called out Oprah Winfrey for what she perceived as blackballing her. However, her vindication extends beyond Oprah. It encompasses industry figures like Whoopi Goldberg and Steve Harvey, who sided with Oprah and disregarded Monique, throwing her under the bus. Recently, Taraji P. Henson disclosed her near departure from the new Oprah-produced adaptation of The Color Purple. This revelation reignited social media conversations where supporters insisted that Monique deserved an apology. Back in 2009, Monique echoed sentiments akin to Taraji's current stance, yet she faced branding as bitter and angry. Monique's assertions were met with a public rebuke from industry peers, notably Whoopi Goldberg and Steve Harvey, contributing to a narrative labeling Monique as difficult. Undeterred, Monique refused to be silenced and exposed to Whoopi and Steve for prioritizing their self-interest while hypocritically professing care for the community, casting them as mere pawns in Oprah's orbit. What were Monique's specific remarks about Whoopi and Steve? Does Taraji's recent revelation validate Monique's past assertions? In real time, none of those involved seemed willing to publicly support Monique against throwing her under the bus. In case you missed it, Oprah Winfrey is facing intense criticism following Taraji P. Henson's disclosure that she nearly walked away from The Color Purple due to a lowball offer. The movie is co-produced by Oprah, Steven Spielberg, Scott Sanders, and Quincy Jones. While Oprah isn't directly issuing paychecks to actors, given her significant influence, one might expect her to leverage it to aid Taraji in negotiating a fairer salary. However, the larger issue isn't merely about this particular incident. Perhaps this wouldn't have escalated so much if this were the first time Oprah faced such criticism. Nearly 15 years prior to Taraji's revelations, Monique publicly accused Oprah of attempting to lowball her and even asserted that Oprah and Tyler Perry played a role in her industry blacklisting. The saga commenced following the release of the 2009 film Precious, a production by Oprah and Tyler Perry, directed by Lee Daniels. Monique garnered widespread acclaim for her outstanding performance, ultimately winning the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress. Given the immense buzz surrounding Monique's portrayal, Oprah and Tyler requested her presence on a promotional press tour for the film. However, the catch was they didn't intend to compensate her for this additional effort. Monique declined the offer, expressing her preference to prioritize spending time with her husband and kids after dedicating substantial effort to Precious. According to Monique, the moment she declined Oprah and Tyler Perry's request, headlines emerged depicting her as difficult and unmanageable, a narrative that arose immediately after Precious hit the screens. Monique witnessed a sudden disappearance of numerous roles that were initially offered to her, leading to a stark halt in Hollywood opportunities. Later, in an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Monique disclosed that Lee Daniels acknowledged she was being blackballed. When she questioned Daniels about the reason behind this treatment, his response was, "Because you didn't play the game." However, when pressed to explain what this game entailed, Daniels couldn't articulate a clear response. It's evident to speculate what this game might signify, a tacit expectation for all Black entertainers to revere Oprah unquestionably and refrain from any negative commentary or face consequences. Monique refused to succumb to this silencing tactic. She boldly exposed Whoopi Goldberg and Steve Harvey, insinuating their compliance as Oprah's loyal followers. Monique elaborated on the view, highlighting that she had fulfilled all her contractual obligations for Precious before Oprah and Tyler asked her to undertake additional unpaid work. Whoopi adopted a condescending tone, asserting that Monique should have fulfilled her duty by going on the overseas tour because it was part of her job. Monique defended herself, stating, "I fulfilled all my contractual obligations, and I was done." She recounted receiving calls from Lee Daniels, Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, and Lionsgate, requesting her to work for free and promote the film internationally. Monique firmly reminded them that her agreement was solely with Lee Daniels, and she had completed her responsibilities. She emphasized that in her view, when individuals decline to go up to hotel rooms, implications arise. She paused her explanation abruptly, acknowledging the contractual obligations in making a movie and promoting it regardless of the contracted party. Monique clarified that if participating in an unpaid overseas press tour was genuinely part of her job, the studio would have pursued legal action against her for breach of contract, which did not occur, indicating the absence of such obligations. Monique was clear about her responsibilities and fulfilled the duties she was contracted for. However, Whoopi went a step further and implied that she could have educated Monique on how to fulfill her job. Monique responded, expressing that if Whoopi had reached out, she could have clarified what was required. Monique then questioned the continuous cycle of expectations versus reality, highlighting this in a conversation with Whoopi. Monique expressed her discomfort with the term "schooled" used by Whoopi, finding it inappropriate. Subsequently, in an interview with Vulture, Monique referenced Whoopi as the help. Monique emphasized that her intention in appearing on The View was to address an experience similar to what she encountered during her time on the show, particularly pertaining to Whoopi's remarks. Yet again, the media and Monique's peers criticized her, attempting to coerce an apology to Whoopi. Nevertheless, Monique remained resolute. She later clarified that her reference to Whoopi as the help stemmed from Whoopi's attempt to publicly shame her for simply advocating for compensation for her work. However, it wasn't solely Whoopi attempting to gaslight Monique and portray her as ungrateful. There was another figure in Oprah's circle, Steve Harvey, who initially privately supported Monique's stance, but later publicly criticized her for burning bridges. Steve found himself in the spotlight for allegedly betraying several colleagues, including an instance where the late Bernie Mac accused him of attempting to usurp his role in Ocean's 11. Bernie claimed Steve went behind his back, lobbying the studio to grant him the role instead. Monique, adding to the list of those feeling betrayed by Steve, openly labeled him as a coward. In an attempt to reconcile, Steve invited Monique onto his show to address the issue. However, while he attempted to challenge and educate her similarly to Whoopi's approach, Monique didn't allow Steve to twist the narrative. She confronted him about his duplicity. Monique also appeared to indirectly criticize Steve, suggesting his alignment as a sellout and part of Oprah's inner circle, though she didn't explicitly utter those words. Her implication was apparent, that when you allow others to control and manipulate your freedom and talent to suit their comfort, everyone ultimately suffers. Steve, however, seemed unable to comprehend that Monique's message revolved around standing by one's principles. He centered the conversation on the financial aspect, arguing that success involved playing nice with certain individuals and being cautious about revealing truths, warning about potential repercussions. Monique underscored the reality that as Black individuals in this industry, speaking the truth often leads to being sidelined. However, Monique was resolute and unwavering in her stance. She made it clear that she wasn't willing to compromise her principles for a hefty paycheck. Now, with Taraji P. Henson coming forward about nearly walking away from Oprah's new project, fans are rallying behind Monique, asserting that she deserves a significant apology. Regarding Whoopi and Steve, it seems they don't have much support in their corner. Fans remarked that Steve Harvey's money game comment served as an inadvertent admission of everything Monique had previously claimed about him. They added that despite being a comedian, his statement wasn't humorous. Fans think that 6 years later, the issue remains as pertinent today as it was back then. They highlighted how Taraji P. Henson received overwhelming support when speaking out about the pay disparity for Black actresses, being offered comfort and encouragement. In contrast, Monique faced direct criticism from Whoopi, who instructed her to stay silent and disregard those behind her. The consensus was that Monique has consistently been ahead of the curve. So, that's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section. Stay tuned and we will catch you in the next video.